indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, just as a reminder, today is our first live stream meeting, so please make sure that you're turning on your microphones when you speak so that the folks at home can hear our discussions. Thank you. Prior to tonight's meeting, we had an executive session, and it was on property, legal, and personnel matters. Before we get started, do we have any public comment this evening for agenda items only? Seeing no public in the audience this evening, Brittany, did you have anything that was sent in ahead of time related to the agenda items? Okay, great, thank you. All right, so we will move to our first presentation. This evening, we will do a proclamation 2025-01, recognizing January 27th, 2025 as International Holocaust Remembrance Day. So I would invite Mayor Aronson up to the podium to actually read the proclamation.
Thank you, President Sokolowski. This proclamation was last passed by the Pennsylvania House in 2020 because of events of anti-Semitism over the past year, including right down the road in Bluebell, the raising of a Nazi flag by a resident. The Pennsylvania Association of Mayors recommended to all their mayors to pass a resolution in their boroughs, and a very similar proclamation is anticipated to be passed by the House on the 27th. So we're in very good company. In fact, the mayors of North Wales and Bridgeport sent me their proclamations to look at this week, so we're in good company. This proclamation recognizes January 27th, 2025 as International Holocaust Remembrance Day in Conshohocken Borough. Whereas the Holocaust was the state-sponsored systematic persecution and murder of an estimated 17 million people by the Nazi German regime under the leadership of Adolf Hitler between 1933 and 1945, whereas German Nazis not only targeted the European Jewish population, but countless others, including Romani, individuals with disabilities, homosexuals, Poles, communists, Soviet citizens, socialists, and Jehovah's Witnesses, due to perceived racial and biological inferiority and on political, ideological, and behavioral grounds. And whereas on January 27, 1945, Soviet soldiers opened the gates to Auschwitz-Birkenau, the largest and deadliest concentration camp, and liberated more than 6,000 prisoners, most of whom were ill and dying due to the horrors they were subjected to by their captors. Whereas in 2005, in commemoration of the importance and significance of that event, the General Assembly of the United Nations adopted a resolution establishing January 27 as International Holocaust Remembrance Day. Whereas January 27th serves as both a day in which the lives of those who perished during the Holocaust are honored, and on which commitment to human rights is reasserted by rejecting any denial of the Holocaust as a historical event and educating new generations of the atrocities that transpired in an effort to prevent future acts of genocide from occurring. Whereas the General Assembly of the United Nations also encourages, as part of its original declaration in 2005, that this day be used to condemn all manifestations of religious intolerance, incitement, harassment, or violence against individuals or communities based on ethnic origin or religious belief wherever they occur. Now, therefore, I, Yaniv Aronson, Mayor of Borough of Conshohocken, with the support of members of Borough Council and the citizens of Conshohocken, do hereby proclaim January 27, 2025 as International Holocaust Remembrance Day in Conshohocken in memory of the victims of the Holocaust and in honor of the survivors, as well as the rescuers and liberators, and further proclaim that we as residents of Conshohocken Borough should strive to overcome intolerance and indifference through learning and remembrance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm looking for a motion to designate January 27th, 2025 as International Holocaust Remembrance Day in the Borough of Conshohocken.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Our next item on the agenda this evening is to look at the final design of our 175th anniversary seal. So I believe, Steph, you're going to walk us through. I see the picture of it. Are folks at home able to see? Okay, perfect.
Yep, so you'll see on the screen the seal in both color and black and white for the 175th anniversary, and then the banner, which will be utilized through different forms throughout the year. This is the 175th is going to culminate. You'll see this seal and this banner throughout the entire year. So it'll be built into the borough website, it'll be built into all of our publications, it'll be built into every event that occurs in the borough this year. But it is going to culminate into an event on Saturday, May 10th, and that is going to be the Simon's Heart Conchi Classic, and we're going to add in a 175th anniversary celebration that will end with a drone fireworks show that evening. So I just wanted to share, Council has generously provided us with some additional funding to really celebrate the 175th anniversary this year. So the timeline for that day, again, it's Saturday, May 10th. We'll have, road closures around 10 a.m. The Conchi Classic bike race will start around 1. There will be food trucks and music that happen all throughout the day on Fayette Street. That's going to be done in conjunction with the bike race. And then we will have a DJ and food trucks that will be down along the river area. And they will be specifically for the 175th anniversary. And the drone show will be over the river. And we're really excited to celebrate the 175th anniversary. And I just wanted to make sure that we were sharing with the citizens of the Borough of Conshohocken not only the 175th seal, the 175th banner, but also the main event where we're going to celebrate the 175th anniversary for the Borough of Conshohocken. But again, the theme will be built into everything we do this year, so you'll see it over and over again. We will start utilizing the seal and the banner tomorrow. We wanted to use tonight to try to kick it off. So we hope that you like the seal, we hope that you like the banner, and we hope that everybody comes out on May 10th to celebrate the 175th anniversary.
Where will the banner be?
The banner will be, we are currently working with PennDOT to determine if we are permitted to place that banner across Fayette Street. So that is to be determined. So if it is approved, you'll see it. If not, then you'll see it more in electronic mode on all of our electronic signs and social media outlets and marketing materials for all of the events.
So will the 2025 seal replace our borough seal on our official letterheads and official sites through the year of 2025?
Correct. And you'll also see it incorporated into all the different departments. So I know Chief Lennon will be getting badges. Do you want to talk about what you're getting?
We're working on a commemorative badge. We can get it in time, and commemorative challenge points.
Awesome.
And possibly something for families.
Great. Okay, so this is the formal kickoff. We're excited. We think that the seal and the banner really capture the essence of Conshohocken from 1850 to 2025, and you'll start seeing that through all of our different avenues starting tomorrow.
Wonderful. Any questions related to 175?
Doing anything with the businesses? As far as putting anything in their windows or doors?
So we've notified the businesses that this is occurring. We actually visit all of the businesses on an annual basis to let them know what events are occurring in the borough. This has been added to that list, so if they'd like to participate, they're more than welcome to participate. We'll also be reaching out to the Historical Society and the Alumni Society. They did indicate they wanted to be included and involved, and so we'll share with them what we're doing, and then they'll be encouraged and welcomed to participate and or have an event of some sort of their own, should they wish to commemorate the 175th.
Great. Any other questions? Okay, there's no vote necessary. This was just informational that we're kicking it off.
Kicking it off.
Awesome. All right, next item on the agenda, we have no land use, public hearings, or ordinances this evening to discuss, so we'll move right on to the consent agenda. First item on the consent agenda is to approve and adopt the December 4th and December 18th regular meeting minutes. Could I have a motion to approve and adopt the December 4th and 18 regular meeting minutes?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item under consent agenda is to approve the December ending treasurer's report and accounts payable in the amount of $1,803,348.89. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda this evening is under unfinished business. So first item, we'll be considering the appointing of an applicant to the Friends of Conshohocken Parks. We had candidates for several of our boards and commissions. So do I have a motion to appoint Walt Hartnett to the Friends of Conshohocken Parks?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next, Board and Commission appointment. There were 3 applicants that interviewed for 2 open positions. So we have Vince Perazzi, Rob Martin, and Chris Monduff. So this evening, I would be looking for a motion to appoint Rob Martin and Vince Perazzi to the Planning Commission.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
I do have a question here. Walt also interviewed for Human Relations. When he was in last?
We have another candidate that
Oh, that-
applied. for
okay, that was my
these
question.
relations, So we have to interview them first,
Okay,
and then that
thank
will be
you.
in front of you for consideration.
And then anyone that wasn't appointed to any of the boards and commissions, we strongly encourage you. There are still openings in boards and commissions. I don't know
Yes,
if you have a
so
list
we
of
have
them.
3 vacancy on the Board of Code Appeals. We have 1 vacancy on the Civil Service Commission, 1 vacancy on the Human Relations Commission, which you'll have another interview next month, and then you'll appoint. You have 1 vacancy on the Marywood Park Commission and 3 vacancies on the Friends of Conshohocken Parks. So we do encourage anyone who interviewed and wants to get involved if they interviewed for a specific commission and they were not selected for that, we definitely still need their help. So if they're interested in volunteering in a different capacity, then we have openings and need the volunteers.
Okay. Any questions? All right, we thank all of the people who have reached out and interviewed for positions, and we definitely have room for you. So please reapply for a new one. Do they have to fill out the whole paperwork process again?
No, we would just reallocate them to another board and
So
commission.
they just need to shoot an email over to say,
Email and say, could you take my application for whatever commission and repurpose it to this commission, and we bring them back in for an interview.
thank you. All right. Next item on our agenda this evening is new business. So we are looking to consider approving a grant match letter for a local share account grant application for our Fayette Street Road Diet Project. So what I'm looking for this evening is a motion to approve the grant matching letter for the local share account grant for the application of the Fayette Street Road Diet Project. And the amount is $566,458. Are there any questions before we actually call for the motion? Okay. So hearing no questions, do I have a motion to approve the grant matching letter in the amount of $566,458?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is to consider approving Resolution 2025-01, and that would extend temporary parking regulations, specifically a stop sign at West First and Maple, and a handicap parking space in the area of 10 East 6th Avenue. Any questions on those two requests for
Yeah, that's just an
extension?
extension of current temporary ordinances, correct?
It's an extension of the temporary ordinance, and we are going to be presenting to you a revised ordinance to make them no longer temporary, permanent in February.
Great.
And then the ordinance, the proposed ordinance will go through the advertising process and then be potentially adopted. So it's, we're requesting the temporary extension so that we can complete the ordinance revision.
Great, thank you.
Can you clarify what the timeline for the temporary extension is, or is it until you?
It's a 90-day extension,
Okay.
and we expect that the ordinance can be drafted, discussed, advertised, and approved in that 90-day period.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing no other questions, do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2025-01, extending the temporary parking regulations, specifically a stop sign at West First and Maple, and a handicap parking space in the area of 10 East 6th Avenue?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is to consider approving tuition reimbursements for Officer Walter, Sergeant Connor, and Detective Bond. So these are per the collective bargaining agreement.
Correct.
So first motion I'm looking for is to approve tuition reimbursement for Officer Walter in the amount of $7,312.30 plus the cost of books.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next motion I'll be looking for is to approve the tuition reimbursement for Sergeant Connor in the amount of $699 plus the cost of books.
And just to clarify that he also has requested enrollment in a 2025 spring semester, and that will be back in front of you for reimbursement, again, once that's concluded as well.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve Sergeant Connor in the amount of $699 plus the cost of books?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. And then last, a motion to approve the tuition reimbursement for Detective Bond in the amount of $1,365 plus the cost of books.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda this evening is to consider approving payment application number 1 for the traffic signal modernization project along East and West Elm Street. So this motion would be approving the application for the following locations and amounts. East Elm and Harry in the amount of $15,330. West Elm and Caldwell in the amount of $78,034.63. West Elm and Maple in the amount of $53,771.55. And West Elm and Oak in the amount of $49,642.70. Before we make any motions, does anyone have any questions on what this actually is or need any clarification? Okay. Hearing no questions or need for clarification, do I have a motion to approve these items?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is to consider approving zoning escrow release for 918 Maple Street and 228 Maple Street. So we're looking for an escrow release for 918 Maple Street in the amount of $956.77 plus interest, and 228 Maple Street in the amount of $221.73 plus interest. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Our next item on the agenda is any public comment. Any public comment come in for any other items or topics? No other public comment? Okay, wonderful. So at this time, I will ask Mayor Aronson if he has anything to share this evening.
Okay, thank you. It feels like it's been a while since we've done this. But at the end of December, we had our menorah lighting, which, as you can see, turned out really well. We had a great crowd. The Chabad of Lafayette Hill puts this on with us every year, and they brought some extra activities for the kids, and it just ended up being a really beautiful night. So, so thank you to our staff and to Chabad of Lafayette Hill for putting this on every year. And I always point out that I just think it's so cool that we do the menorah and the Christmas tree right next to each other in the park. It just creates a really welcoming visual for us. So thank you everyone for helping put that on. Adrian and I went to a grand opening in his ward. Posigen, a solar panel company, moved in, and we got to tour the facility and learn about all the new solar panels that they offer. And then since I posted this on my social media, I've had like a number of people comment that they're a great company and how it's awesome that they're going to be a part of the borough. So so they seem very interested in working with us. So I'm setting them up with admin to see how they want to get involved with us. But could not have been nicer, and a really beautiful facility. And as you can see, a really great staff coming into the borough every day for work. So we appreciate having them. We also, Chief Lennon, myself, and our state rep, Greg Scott, honored 4 Eagle Scouts a couple weeks ago. I didn't realize how rare an occurrence this is. I learned that only 4% of Boy Scouts actually achieve this. So really, really amazing that we had 4. They went through as a cohort together and wanted to be honored together. So it was really great to be there, and I know all of us here really appreciate their community work to achieve that status. And I'm sure council and our residents will not be surprised to learn that our very own Chief Lennon is an Eagle Scout. No surprise.
Wow.
And then finally, Conshohocken Kiwanis Club. They've done some really great community stuff recently. The bench in front of the community center is actually from recycled plastic bags that they collected. And generally speaking, Kiwanis focuses on educational endeavors. They're having their big annual Mardi Gras event on March 4th. And it's going to be at Fingers, Wings, and other things. So you can check my social media, check their social media. Tickets are $25, but really great organization to support. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Councilman Fry?
Yeah, I just wanted to recognize the firefighters and emergency management personnel. Last week, there was a home fire down the street from my house. The speed at which they got there and had the situation under control was amazing. I was working from home, and I started getting text messages from friends who live there, and within 3 to 4 minutes of receiving that text message of, hey, what's going on down there, I was notified that the situation was under control. There were no injuries, firefighters, or anything. They kept a really bad situation from getting worse because of the speed at which they were able to respond to it. So very big shout out to all of the local firefighters, the other companies who responded, the emergency management personnel, everyone involved with it. It was, an unfortunate situation, but they handled it very well. And then secondly, I just want to give a shout out to a local business, the Boathouse. They had a very cool event where Swoop came, and we didn't know this, and my family and I went out to dinner there. and my daughters got to meet Swoop. It's very cool when local businesses do stuff like that. The kids, like, they loved it. So now I have pictures with Swoop, family pictures with Swoop and the Fanatic in Conshohocken. So in June, Gritty hopefully will be here. So that might be my third. So we're trying to build a little family album. So that's it. But really great event hosted by them. So go Birds.
Birds. Nothing tonight, thank you.
Nothing, thank you.
I'd just like to give a shout out to my crew at the Marywood Park. We had a meeting Monday night and we discussed the roof, which is now completely finished. And we discussed the outside, the gingerbread, the painting, the concrete work that needs to be done. And we'll look forward to having that done in the near future.
I want to thank the borough crew for handling the snowfall so well that even though lots of businesses and schools canceled, my sons did not. So I made it there safely all the way to Plymouth meeting. But thank you. Like you always see chatter whenever there's online about worry or concern when a big snowstorm's coming. But it's very, very cool just to be able to tell them like the borough has it under control, and then to wake up and see it's entirely under control. So thank you.
Nothing from me.
All right, and I have nothing this evening, so with that, I will call January's voting meeting adjourned.